Hey, how are we going this afternoon? So the other day, one of my clients shared a little post of Rick Shields on Facebook, and I thought, man, that's actually a really, really good tip. And it was all about not sliding and how to make a turn in the golf swing. Now, it was a really good piece of advice. So as always, with Rick, he's full of really good content and someone certainly worth following. But it was missing one little key ingredient that is going to make a massive difference in the quality of the turn. Okay, so the little drill he had there was simply shoulders across. You know, you can put a club or a tour stick or anything down on the ground. We've all got another club. Hopefully, you got two of them. And instead of swaying off the golf ball and not completing the turn, getting the feeling of getting this to match up. So, getting the stick on the ground to match up with the stick on your shoulders. Obviously, you'd actually be surprised. The hardest part of the whole thing is actually just getting that to match up on your shoulders. But just getting this to turn is really, really good, but it can create what I would call a false turn or a hollow turn, for the lack of a better process or words. Because what's happening there is that, yes, you're going here, and you will notice that the only way you can get there is to get this working a little bit back that way. But is it not just quite easy, some players, to find their way there? They'll get pointed there, but they will actually stand up a little bit through the lower body and just find a way to get, oh look, I'm making a nice turn, as opposed to actually getting some depth with the right hip correctly and actually making a powerful coil. So really, really simple way to do it. You can either have a wall behind you, and obviously the only problem with the wall is if it's right here, right behind you, you obviously can't be swinging a club, but you can start with a wall like hand width behind you and just get used to, as you going into that point there, you actually touching the wall. Or alternatively, you can go ahead and let's use a extremely fancy chair like that. We'll pop it on the ground, and right here you can have that same process where I'm sitting up and I know the chair is just about a hand width behind me, and as I make that nice turn, I'm pushing into the chair. So now I'm making this turn on top, and I'm not early extending, I'm actually coiling into that side there. And then from there, I've got some choices what to do on the way down. Obviously, if you haven't got a chair or you don't want to use a chair, a really, really good thing to use is one of these wonderful Swiss balls. We often don't use them very much, whether it's a wall or like here, I've just got a brace. I can stand here again and just get used to making a nice coil while pushing back into the ball. Boom. And now I'm actually making a nice deep loaded turn while I'm in posture. I'm fully coiled. And then from there, I've got some choices as to what type of shot I can play or swing or move. But it's a nice pressurized deep turn, as opposed to definitely not sliding and definitely not just making a hollow turn. So that's how you can really get the feeling of not only turning on top of the golf ball, but actually making a nice real loaded coil where you'll feel like you're on top of it, and you should feel some pressure, preferably towards the inside of your trail leg. All right, give that a go, and look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Alright, so here's a sort of swing what it would look like when I'm doing all that stuff. Now, obviously I am far from perfect, but I work in progress like the rest of us. But I've got a couple of things here, a couple of lines you can look at. I've got a little butt line here, so obviously not only can I check my posture to make sure, like maybe, I could have my ass a little bit more underneath me, but somewhere around here, so 1 or 2 inches there, so you can kind of get some idea of am I early extending or not in the takeaway and through impact. And then I've got another line here for my trail leg to make sure I'm not swaying or sliding. And then obviously I've got a stick here representing a shoulder turn. So let's see how this all kind of looks. So as you go back, making sure I'm turning, and during my backswing, I'm just making sure that when I get at the top, I'm still, my hip's still, my ass is still very much this side of the line. My trail hip, you can see I've turned certainly inside that line, and as I'd imagine, as I start to change direction, I create a little gap there between me and that line. You can see obviously I've had quite a lot of shoulder coil there, fully loaded myself big time, trying to hit this one relatively hard, even though I don't go relatively fast. The old skinny one on, and then from there, as I'm going through, got to make that effort. Obviously we haven't talked about this, but that's obviously making sure I don't jump out or early extend either through impact. Now obviously this is just an example of it all, but we're only talking about the backswing in this particular little video, but just making sure that as you're making that backswing, it's not a hollow coil, it's a fully loaded coil behind this way, so that you're not coming off that line, you're creating pressure going backwards, and you're fully turned. That puts you in a good position where you can hit some high quality shots. Certainly makes it easier to have a club that's working coming from the inside and having an inside into out, or a slightly positive path with the face a little close to it. Allows you to hit those little shots and makes it very easy if you make that deep turn to go there and hit little high draws if that's your shot you want to hit. You can definitely from that top of the backswing pivot more left quicker, and that will certainly give you more of a left path in the correct fashion. Hopefully that all makes sense, but definitely when you're going out there and you're practicing this by yourself, put something back there, get some feedback loops, use a video camera. If you have a swing analysis program, and even a cheap one, Coach Now or a V1 swing analyzer or something, get that line and see where you're going. Make sure you're not early extending. Alright, make sure you make a nice good full coil deep turn, and then from there you're going to have some space to really move and give it a rip. Alright, hope that all makes sense, and love to hear from you if it doesn't or if it does. Keep up the good work, guys.